Hey guys, what's going on? David Avalon here, and we're in for another edition of True Talk Tuesday, number 47. And today's topic is the one-trick pony. Now, a lot of times you hear this term thrown around, and it's usually like, oh, it's somebody who only does one move. You know, I actually looked it up. The origins of the term, the idiom one-trick pony, comes from the circus world, where there was literally a pony that knew one trick, and it was usually used in a bad way, because that's obviously a pony that wasn't trained well. But I noticed when it's used in the martial arts, it's usually against somebody who's actually very effective with that one trick, and it's the opponents that are frustrated because they don't know how to work around it. Now, the extreme, if we took it literally as a one trick guy, wouldn't be good, right? Because usually it'd be really hard if you only had one technique to be able to implement it, because you usually need other techniques to connect to, right? Like if I want to hit an armbar, I need to take the guy down first, get into the mount position, or go into the guard. So just having one move usually isn't enough. But the other extreme is another idiom, which is the jack of all trades, right? Where now you're just spread out and you know a little bit of everything, but you're not good enough in any one particular area to be effective. So, like most things, you want to be somewhere in the middle. But on this issue, I want to lean a little bit more towards the one-trick pony side of things versus on the jack of all trades, right? And the reason is just we are limited in the amount of time that we have, right? To become a master in a particular subject usually takes years, decades to get there. And when we're talking about athletics and particularly combat sports, we have a very limited shelf life. Pretty much once you start getting into your 30s, 40s, and you're really stretching it, that's about all you got if you're going to be competitive, and compete professionally. So you don't have the time to specialize in every part of the game. You won't make it. So usually that translates to you're going to specialize in a few topics. So like maybe 3-4 things you're going to be exceptional at, better than anybody else in the world, hopefully. But you're not going to be able to do everything, right? And if you look at all the best martial artists, or in this case, it's easier for me to go to the best grapplers in the world, they're usually known for a couple things. Marcelo Garcia, arm drag, X guard, right? Cyborg, tornado guard. Dean Lister, leg locks. Me, Kimuras, right? So like the best in wrestling, John Smith, sweep single leg, right? And it's like that everywhere. Jordan Burroughs, blast double. I can go on forever. But in the top levels of the sport, those guys usually just have a few moves. And it's not like they don't know the basics. Of course they know the basics, right? But they're not a specialist everywhere. It's just simply not possible, right? So you got to pick your spots. And if you look at like Western educational systems, and I think for the most part everyone in the world, it functions the same way. When you're in grade school, elementary, middle school, you're focusing, you're not even focusing really, it's just like general knowledge. You're getting your fundamentals. You're learning your ABCs, basic math, history, English and writing skills, right? Or reading and writing skills, I should say. And then once you start getting into college, then you start to specialize. Then you start working towards your profession. And if you go for a master's, it's even more specialized and more focused. And then the PhD is a hyper specialization in a really niche subject. So your martial arts path is relatively the same, right? Generally, the white belt and blue belt level, you're getting that grade school approach, right? You're learning a little bit of everything, the fundamentals, positional hierarchies, striking ranges. You're learning the game, so to speak. And then once you understand what the game is and how it's played, at the pro belt level and above, that's when you start to specialize, right? And depending on how you invest your time, you may be able to focus on multiple things, right? Hopefully. And, you might get really good at leg locks and good at a half guard sweep and get good somewhere else. But you're going to go through that same, college, master's, PhD, and move back down. And I, from what I've seen from a personal basis and with my athletes, that's generally the best approach towards things. So of course you have to know your ABCs, your basic algebra, so to speak. But once you have that basic understanding of the game, then you're going to specialize, and usually you're going to be exceptional at a few areas, right? You might sometimes find yourself that when you pick a particular area to work on, that it becomes a dead end. And that happens. I've had that happen to me where I start working on something and then, I just find out after a while, it doesn't really click with me. And then I just drop it and I move on to something else. And then you might find that something else, it never ends. It's just like a tunnel that keeps going and going and going and going. In my case, that's what the Kimura has been, right? Like I've been working on it now, like really, really working on this since like 2007. Now we're like 2019, it's like 12 years plus, and I'm still going down that rabbit hole, right? And I don't think it's ever going to end for me at this point. Sure, I do dabble in certain things from time to time that are outside of that, but they're usually like it is connected somehow to the Kimura. And then I sidetrack for a little bit and then I come back in, right? And that's fine. I'm really happy with it. Obviously, for me, it's very successful. Pretty much every person I roll with, I can get them in a Kimura, and to me, it works out great. And, the people who specialize well, they probably say the same thing. Marcelo, I'm sure, he knows how to get to everybody's back. It's not a problem for him, right? It's not a limitation being that so-called one-trick pony, right? So, if you feel like your game is a little bit limited, just ask yourself, are you effective with it? Because if you are catching everybody with what you're doing, then maybe they're the ones that are limited in learning how to overcome your specialization. I'm a big fan of it. I think that if everybody starts calling you a one-trick pony and you're tapping them out, then they're the ones that are the one-trick pony because they only got the tap. All right? So tell me, guys, what you think. Do you agree, disagree? Send your comments below. And by the way, if you weren't aware, in a couple weeks, it's going to be from August 13th to August 19th, I'm going to be running a camp here in Las Vegas. We're going to be, again, if you followed me when I was doing the Costa Rica camp, very similar format. It's going to go 12:30 to 3:30. It starts from a Tuesday, ends on a Monday. Getting a lot of training in, focusing a lot. Again, a lot of Kimura trap stuff, but there'll be other stuff that I'll be covering, my switch series, back attack systems, all going to be going on there. 3-hour sessions, going to be smaller groups. It's going to be limited to 20 people. So you get a lot of time with me, get a lot of questions answered. The one I did in Costa Rica was a blast, and this one I'm going to try to make even better. That's a hard pull, but I'm going to work on it. Right? We have curriculums already written out for it. So if you're in the Vegas area and you're a local, send me a DM. If you want to travel out, visit the website, bjjretreat.com. It has all the info there, the itinerary, everything we're going to cover, frequently asked questions. We're only 2 weeks out, so it's pretty close. We have a few spots open. So if you want to jump in, go ahead. Otherwise, that's all I got for you guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Again, leave your comments below, and I'll reply to them in the order I get them.